Let's start with a review. At the bottom of this graphic, you see the model that we've been talking about throughout the entire course. And at the top, you see some bullet points. Let's look at each one of these bullet points. The first is the idea that the history of the New Thought movement has been really vastly misrepresented. Now, this is important because almost all modern law of attraction, mind-matter interaction, whatever you want to call it, materials look back and refer to this early period in New Thought history as being some sort of golden age when things were figured out. Well, there's 2 points to make here. The first is that the people who are often talked about from that early phase of New Thought, in fact, when you look at their history, had lives as difficult and chaotic as anyone else, possibly even more. So you find all kinds of politics, you find all sorts of financial strife, you find all sorts of stuff that goes on in everyone's life. They didn't appear to live in sort of some golden panacea type of life or existence. The second thing to keep in mind about the early New Thought movement is that we're trying to look at it from a lens over 100 years later. Culture has changed dramatically. The New Thought movement began as a group of Christian, middle-class women, essentially in the northeast section of the United States, and was devoted to healing. That's a long way from what we see represented with the law of attraction type stuff today. Now, in the early part of the 1900s, there was a transition in our economic system, and as it became possible to create more goods than there was consumer demand for, the whole sort of concept of manufacturing consumers came on the scene, and with that, there was just a tremendous change in mindset and culture. It's at that point that you see those early founders of New Thought being moved away from, and a new class of what we would recognize as being much more familiar materials coming on the scene. So it's talking about things like business success and how to make a lot of money and how to sort of manifest the life of your dreams.